Hello, this is Johnny Liu. I'm gonna go about the pro and con of the new video game system that I just purchased, and just briefly tell you what I think about it. And later on, I will go into more detail of each one. Now, I already pretty much go in detail on this one, the Neo Geo, and this one. I went pretty detailed on the two controller that I talk about. It only use the Neo Geo controller that you have to purchase. The other controller at this moment, no controller will work on this system. And this one, the only controller you could use after you modify the system so that you could install different emulator. It will work on Retro Freak controller. And let me see, I have it here or not. No. Okay, I don't have with me or next to me. Or maybe I do. Hold on a second. Yeah, I'm sorry. Retro Freak. For some reason, this one will work on this machine. And so if you use this machine, it have 6 buttons, so you could save on the main. Now let me and then this is the new one called the Retro Arcade. The physical name is actually called the Retro Arcade. It's not called Neo Geo Clone, even though it looked exactly almost like Neo Geo over there. Same controller and everything. Okay, and then this one is the new one called the Game Hat, which is it comes with a controller, but you have to download the images. And this one, I will also talk about the pro and con. Okay, let's start with this one first. This one, the bad thing is you have to put it together. It's not too bad putting it together, and I will go into detail. They don't have an instruction how to put it together, but I put the small piece right there, and then a long piece, and then both sides I have a screw on it. And the good thing is you get to put 128 gigabyte of RAM, and you have instruction how to install your favorite arcade images. And this one is actually created by Mr. Hanson. I forgot his name, but I will go into more detail on this one. Now, one thing I do want to bring your attention is that this controller, the stick is almost the same as those over there. It's just that it have a more flatter head instead of circle. But the bad thing is that it is everything else is when you hold on to this thing, it become more higher. But if you add this this thing that I just added, which is came from Nintendo DS, the XL screen, if you add that to it, it's pretty cool, even though it's not long enough to control the two button on top. I wish it would be nice, but it doesn't. But at least you have a good hand able to hold it, and the controller become more durable, so become not bad. Before it was like this was way too high, and so this has become durable. So if you want to get this, I will do a video on this and tell you more about it, and step by step, and where to download the images and all that stuff. Okay, and I might also take this thing apart and put some different heat sink on it, and then see if we could use a different controller, and let it sit there and use a different controller instead of using the controller here. So we're gonna try that out on the next video. So that's one of my projects that I want to do. This video is called a Game Hat, and I think A Prime or ETAP, I forgot his initial. I just call him ET Prime, but he did he's the one who bring this to everybody's attention. He was the one who actually talk about it, but he also tell you how to put your own images and stuff like that. So I really like the images that I download by Derek talk. He's the one who always talk about a lot of images, and I subscribe to him. And this is one of the image I thought was pretty cool. Now, the bad side about this one, it have a border on the side, and all the game, not all the game, are in the box form. So they put two border size screen for each game. But the problem is, like Super Nintendo is using the full screen, and has a little bit of the screen is being blocked by the border, and that's one thing I didn't like about it. The so I mean, also the con about this is that it's open up for a disaster to happen, meaning that something water could get to it. I like the idea is open case where you could plug in the network and the 4 USB controller or keyboard or mouse to it. Is kind of cool. I don't like the idea you don't have an option that you could buy stuff like this to add to it. So, and you cannot add a fan to it. You have to rely on the heatsink. So you can't really overclock this Raspberry Pi 3, which I have. It's not Raspberry Pi 3 Plus. I have ordered that new one. It's supposed to be better in controlling the temperature of the processor. So that one is coming on its way this week. So I might not install that on this machine. I'm not sure yet. But I like the idea. The screen is very clear, and it's not a touch screen, but it's a 3.5 IPX. So it is the best screen right now compared to all three of this. Okay. Now, so the pro about this is the screen is great. The emulator, you could put any emulator and you could play any kind of game. Now, the con about this is that it does not play Nintendo 64. It does not have enough button. It doesn't have another joystick. So you cannot use, when you go to PlayStation, it will not work. And also Nintendo DS. It will not work on Nintendo DS. So if you, even though I have Nintendo DS here, I cannot play Nintendo DS because it requires another station, another controller, which I cannot do. Another D controller. So you cannot play Nintendo DS or Super Nintendo 64 on this video game system. So that's the con about it. But the pro is it's pretty cool. The sound is great. So I will do a video on this. Now, this two I already did, and I also did a modification on video. I couldn't upload it. I have a speaker here, and the speaker hole already put in and added two speaker. I went into detail how I did it, how I put it in. But one sad thing is when I was doing soldering, the soldering iron was dripping down to the monitor cable, and I didn't notice. I wasn't paying attention, and it burned the video connection. And I try to fix it, more I destroy the video my screen. So sad is that all that effort is put in. I have to trying to figure out what's causing the system shut down, and so that one is great attempts. I might thinking about buying another one and transfer the video card and the monitor into the case that already have the hole put in, and I also drill a hole right here where you could actually have light on here. Since the system is rebooting, I'm not sure what's causing it because I did too many modification at one time. So I don't know what is causing the system to shut down. Not totally shut down, but the screen went off and the stuff is still working. So it might be just the video card that I have accidentally dropped the soldering iron into the connection, which damaged one of my system. I always purchase two of everything whenever I like something. So I got two of this. This one is the working one. So you could control everything with your joystick. After you configure it and modify it and remove stuff that you don't like, then you could actually able to use a joystick after you finish all the modification. Now this is the new baby that just came in. Now let me tell you a little bit about it. I love the 6-button joystick. It just spacing just perfect and everything is great. This is type of a mini arcade that I want to build in the future, which I haven't done it, which is the screen is there, but I haven't built it yet. And I already purchased the joystick too for it, and it's a little bit bigger than this, but the button actually click. It's a real button, real arcade stick, and but I haven't built it together because I'm not good at woodworking. So let's talk about this one a little bit. Since I already told you guys I would, but I will demonstrate more on each one. So let's talk about what kind of game the pro about it. The pro is that the screen is pretty big size. It's the same as that. The other pro about it is you do not have to hack it. And also the guy who I just emailed him asking him more information about it. Hopefully he'll answer me in this next couple of days. But he did answer one of the question is that if you want to modify the 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 stuff that is already in here, instead of modify from the SD card, you could actually take the SD card out and you could back it up before you change anything, and you could actually modify the SD card and put the game you want and remove the one that you don't want. Okay, so yes, so that's something is pretty cool. He said you just have to take the screw in the back, take the case out, and you will see your SD card in there, and you could remove it. Okay, and put your own SD card. So let's talk about what kind the pro and the con. So the pro is you don't have to hack it. It does support. Let me go down the list and tell you what it support. It support Famicom and also NES, but I think the format had to be NES for the Nintendo game, and it has 713 game, okay, in the system right now, and the the CP, which is the Capcom 1 and 2, it have 36 game, and it have to be zip file, ZIP, and the Game Boy, which it have 221 game, and it support GB format. Here is what I'm reading from. I wrote it on a piece of paper. Sorry for that. I didn't put. I probably will put that on the description once I finish uploading, and then I'll go in and edit the description and add this in it. And Game Boy Advance, it is 744 game, and it had to be a format N-word GBA. Then Game Boy Color is 178. Game Gear, which is a Sega Genesis Game Gear handheld game, is only have 40 game at this moment, and it's GG format. And then the Mega Drive. Now Mega Drive, there's a catch. It have to be a BIN file. So if you have a MD or GEN or zip file, I know Mega Drive have a lot of different format. It will not work if it doesn't end with BIN. And there's a program that I have could change the format into BIN. And so when I go to each one, if you guys need help on that, I will also go in detail and show you where to download that program and how to modify, how to change your ROM into BIN format instead of the MD or what's the other one, GEN format. And so, and then I think also SMC maybe. And this one only Sega Mega Drive it support SMC, and there's a 50 game. Now Super Nintendo, one thing good about it, Super Nintendo will support SFC, and I think there's another format. I think is SF something. I forgot what is it, but it support both. So you don't have to worry about the Super Nintendo, and support all the format on Super Nintendo, and it's 270 file. Neo Geo, it have to format, it have to support FBA. Now, if you have download Neo Geo X, which I have on the Neo Geo X handheld. Is also a console. I was able to download the images, and in that images have some Neo Geo already put in, and I also able to at least get 180 game, 86 game I believe, and this is a Neo Geo X, and their format it go from FBA to Mary Victor Sam, MVS. And so what I did is I just rename it to FBA, and it worked just fine. So I have right now the Neo Geo have 117 game, and it play very well on Neo Geo. Okay, so if you like Neo Geo like me, and you want it on TV, and this one when you put on TV, it does not look very good. When you carry this outside, the screen is not the best of all. It doesn't look, you cannot hardly see it. But on this one, you could, and it's $88 right now by this company called funnygame.com, I believe. I'll have the description on this one once I finish upload this video, and I'll give you the description where to order it. I went and ordered a second one. Now the con about this one is that it does not support MAME, M-A-M-E. Okay, it only supports CPS 1 and 2, which is the Capcom game. So it does not support MAME. So that means a lot of arcade game like Pac-Man and Dig and Dug and all that stuff, it will not work. It does not support right now. Based what I see, it does not support PlayStation 1. It does not support Turbo 16, which I love Turbo 16, and sad it does not support that. Let me get out here. Let me show you the emulator. Okay, so this is what it supports. Arcade is only for the CPS 1 and 2, Game Boy, Super Famicom or Super Nintendo, both format work. MegaDrive have to be .bin format. Nintendo Famicom, it have to be E and S. It does not work with other format, only E and S. Game Boy Color, fine. Game Boy, fine. They play okay. I have to do some demo on it, and it looked good on the screen as well, the back of the 7 inches when I plug it in. But you have to go to TV output and change it to the NTSF because it default to PAL. So if you plug it in, it's not going to work. It's not because this adapter does not work. It's because you have to go to TV output to change that. So I'll go into more detail on the retro arcade, but it's real cool. You could change. It only support FAT32 SD card. So I mean the highest it will go up is 64 gigabyte. So you could put a 64 gigabyte in here, and or you could go into the system, take out a 60 gigabyte, put a 64 gigabyte, add an external 64 gigabyte. Right there you have a 128 gigabyte on the system, and you could play all the library from the system. You will not have problem putting the full library of all the game in here with 128 gigabyte if you do what I suggested, and we will go into detail on that and a video on that once I have more time, because I'm working and I'm taking time to do this. I'm not trying to make money from YouTube. I don't do commercial for anybody, so therefore I'm just doing this as a person to give you some information. But the con about this is that the joystick and the audio somehow does not, when you first plug it in, it somehow it does not work very well, and then you have to turn it off, turn it back on, then it work. And with this joystick and this joystick, when I tried 3 joystick, this one stopped working. Same thing like Neo Geo, only 1 and 2 joystick work, but I was having some problem controlling it, and so I will do more research on that and tell you more about it. Game Boy Advance play okay, but not the best, meaning that this thing have some 85% of the game system, the video and the sound and the play are not perfect. Now the controller is fine, It's just the Game Boy Advance, I guess maybe it's more advanced, so it had a little bit of a problem on playing it. Some reason Game Boy itself, I have some problem with it, but I haven't tried the one that he have, because the one I download in previous time, I never test all the ROM because there's too many ROM, so I don't play all the ROM. So I don't know, is it because the ROM issue, or is it the, let's just demo one of them and see what it sound like. Okay, the pro about this one is that you could install anything up to PlayStation 1, even PSP. The only downside on PSP is playable. PSP and Nintendo 64 is playable, but the problem is opposite from Nintendo 64. Nintendo 64 graphic is good, but the sound is choppy. The PlayStation, the sound is good, but the graphic is choppy. Did I just say that right? Nintendo 64 graphic is good. Let me think about this. Yeah, graphic is good, the sound is bad. Here is the sound is good, the graphic is bad. So it's kind of opposite. So if I say that wrong, I apologize, but yeah, they're opposite, and so it's not perfect. Now the PlayStation, the EPSXE, some reason the link is not working anymore. I need to find the one that I download, because the one I download is a more earlier version, but it plays just fine. But I don't know. They say the link is not working no more, and I check it, it doesn't work. So whoever put the link on that emulator, they have removed it. So I have to look for it and then give you guys a more latest update. I did added a new link, but it's a 1.9.3 version instead of 2.06. So I don't know what's the difference on that. But yeah, that's what somebody told me, is the link on the PS1 is not there anymore. But PS1 played just great. And so the con about this, the pro about this is you could install a different emulator and they play just fine on Android. They play great. Okay, no lacking on the sound or graphic. Everything is great. Only the Nintendo 64 and PSP, because they're more advanced. Now, not all the main game will work. The main for Joy, not all the game will work on that. And I've been testing, see which one work, which one doesn't, and I delete it. I only could get like I forgot how many game I could get it to working, but not 180. It's more like I wrote down 140 something, 100 maybe 140 some game. I don't remember exactly now. I did some video about it, but maybe 160. I don't remember. But I got most of the Neo Geo working pretty well. Okay, now let's check out the Game Boy, since now it's doing demo. Let's turn the sound up. Demo. Now, one thing I love this one is it play Neo Geo great. It played the arcade Capcom 1 and 2 excellent with Street Fighter Turbo, Street Fighter from Capcom. So it played those games great. It plays Super Nintendo good. A little bit I think the speed is a little bit fast, a little bit. And Sonic, the sound is not all there 100%. If you never played Sonic before, you probably not notice the difference. But I did notice a little bit, sound deformed, in my opinion, because I'm the one who plays Sega. I own Sega since I was young, and in the younger day, but I noticed the difference. Now, so here you have it. So they're all great. I do recommend all of them. Give them thumb up. I own all of them. I purchased all of them. I love it, and because I like the arcade format, the shape, the form, and the joystick is like arcade. and I don't like to play D-pad. I like the joystick, the thumb movement, because when I was young I played the D-pad and I push up and down, and my thumb burned and it hurt. And when I was growing up, I said, man, I wish somebody would change something to make it better, so you don't have to, I don't mind moving so much, but it burned my thumb. It gave me a rough dead skin on my thumb, and it hurt, and I don't like it. And so I appreciate this kind of joystick, even though this joystick is high. But with this, adding this on it, you could have a more it doesn't feel like you're holding it and your thumb is all the way up here. Right now it's more wide size, instead of like smaller. You hold it and you hold it so high on your thumb. Right now it's just good side, good about adding this on. Okay, and this one to tell you the light, and when you turn it off, it seems like there's a button that you push to do a shutdown. You push the middle and almost shut down, and I don't know if that's a safe shutdown or not, but it go off and it doesn't come back. You have to see there's no signal, so it's a shutdown based on the program that this program, the way it programmed. So you just turn it up and then just leave it off, and then this light will go away. Once in a few minutes it will disappear. So I have 3 light, and so it's pretty cool. But the con about it is that if you need to replace the battery, you cannot take it out. You have to disassemble this case, and then you could take the battery out. One thing good about this one, it have a battery built in, and you could just take the battery out from the back, and you could charge it and play 3 to 3.5 hours. Let me turn the volume back up and see what it sounds like. The con about this one, the pro about this one is to have a battery that you could charge and stuff. The con about it is the speaker is at the bottom, so when you put it on the table, the sound is kind of like covered up. It's not like you're listening to it directly. And press B. I think B. And you able to save it and everything. So that's one about the pro about this game, is that you could actually save it, and you have a bunch of save. You could save all the game. They all have the same function. So I don't know, did I say the word pro and con? The pro is I love the system by itself. The con is that I'm not very, the joystick, the buttons feel fine, but the little bit of lacking I find in the controller, using the USB controller that they have. I feel like there's some lacking on this. This one it doesn't, but when you play with the USB controller, I feel like on TV, I feel like there's some lacking. Okay, so that's the con about this thing. And then the con about this one is that it does not play PlayStation, Nintendo 64, and the Turbo 16. Okay, but the pro about it is you do not have to hack it. It lets you play all the game. It has 6 buttons. The pro about it, you use the D-pad like the Super Nintendo, and it's not super sensitive like Nintendo Neo Geo, because this button is so sensitive. Sometimes you go left, sometimes you go jump up to the top. So this is too sensitive on the button, the way my opinion is. And this one is not. It's just right the way. So I got a second one on it, and I don't know why I got a second one. Maybe I want to add the light on top and put some added another plastic on top so it'll stand up, look like that one. And so this is pretty cool. And this one you could still get it from the company, I think it's called GamerCandy.com, and they still sell it for $55 some cents, so about 56, and you still could get it from them from eBay. Right now Walmart and other places are selling for $90 from a different company, but GamerCandy, they still sell it for that price. I did get a replacement for the button from my arcade. They said that they normally don't do that. They don't sell parts, but since they have a extra equipment that is malfunctioning, they went and sent me the 2 rubber parts for the button. And the bad part, another thing is I have one of my speaker in malfunctioning, doesn't work. I thought it was because the wire was pulled apart. I resoldered it. It turned out it was the speaker itself that was malfunctioning. And so this system, since it's made from China, you will once in a while system will go bad. Not because I'm playing with it. I seldom play with it. I just modify and that's it. Leave it alone. Once in a while, maybe I'll look at it when I do video. But I seldom play with it, as like most game players will play with it all the time. So yeah, it does have button malfunctioning. You have speaker malfunctioning. Speaker will stop working. So you might want to look at one of my video how to replace the speaker. Be careful on your soldering. Don't do what I did. I soldered on top of this video thing and damaged one of my system. So right now this one do not have any hack, but I'm waiting for the American version, which is international version. The joystick only costs $25. I bought $84 for the Japanese version, which I kind of like, wow, I pay like almost, man, too much money. But I'm the only one on the YouTube that actually purchased the controller and able to talk about it. So I'm the first person that did the video on this in America about the controller. And check that video out because it talk about the functionality, how it work. It's very complicated in some way. Okay, so stay tuned while I will talk about the video on this one, telling you about how to get the second controller to work and where to get this and how to put this in so you could, and then how to get the images, how to install it, and step by step. Don't know when I'll have time on that. Those two is already done. This one I'll go into more detail how to get the Sega Genesis work and change the format to BIN and use the program to change the format into BIN. And then we talk about each game and maybe tear open this system. Once I get my second one come in, I will go ahead and do a tear down on this and see what's inside and how we can modify this. I did ask a question about can we install different emulator. Can we install Nintendo 64, Turbo 16, and PlayStation 1? Because it work on this machine. Will it work on this machine? Can we install that? So I will get a answer back soon, hopefully. And so let's see what happened. All right. And so this one is called funnygame.com. So look that up. They still sell it for $88, free shipping, and it comes with a lot of games. Like the one I just showed you that I talked to you about. It comes with a lot of cool game already installed it, and so it's pretty cool. Ugh. So, but the only bad thing is it does not play PlayStation. So if you was to, let's just say if you have to decide, Johnny, if I was to decide to buy an arcade, what should I buy? Well, you don't want to buy one of those because there's only one game and it costs like $24-25. And they only come with Nintendo version. It's not even arcade. Okay? I hate to tell you this. The only two arcade is this machine right here that came with 34 arcade game, but it's only Data East, and they don't even play well with their own controller. So, but after you modify it, it plays great. Okay? With the controller, with the game. And the pro about this one is it lets you play PlayStation 1. And all the PlayStation 1 that I tried, it worked. I haven't tried all of them, but I tried most of it, and it worked. And most of my Neo Geo, I think up to like 160, I don't remember now, and it worked. So yes, and the screen is 4.3, and it's not bad. Now this one have the best screen. This one's a second, and this one is third. Okay, and this one is number one. This one is the best screen. That one is second. That one is third. That one's fourth. Okay, and so if you are a Neo Geo collector, would like to play Neo Geo and have a legal license, get that. because that's what I did. I got 2 of them. So I love Neo Geo. I want to support them. I love their games, so I have no problem buying 2 of those. So I'm a Neo Geo collector. I love their game. I even bought the PlayStation 4 version of King of Fighter. Love it. It looks so realistic. I'm glad they upgrade to the latest version of King of Fighter. Now, this one is cheap, $55. Is you buy 2 of those, you could get 1 of this. So did I recommend this? Yeah, but you need to look at the video. Look at the video from Glenn. He tell you step by step. He's the one that make me when I saw the video, that's what got me to buy this. Okay, so if you know how to modify it, you know a little bit about Android, you have computer knowledge. It's not too hard, but you have to make sure you're able to download all the file from the hacking video. Once you get all the file downloaded, then go buy this. Because if you cannot find those files and you're going to buy this, you're dead in the water of hacking it because you don't have the software. Normally I download the software, get the software ready, then I buy this. Because then I know, hey, I have the software ready to hack this. Okay? And this one, does it worth getting it? Yeah. If you want to, it's easy, it's light, you don't have to plug anything in, it's rechargeable battery. This one is not, you have to plug, this one is not, they both do not have a battery, so you have to go buy a battery pack like I did. And this one do not have an easy access, you have to modify the hardware to make it work. And then you have to modify the software to make the emulator work. You have to install all the emulator from Android to make this thing work. So there's a lot of work to it. When I modified one for my friend, it took me a whole day, almost 6 hours, continuously installing this and that, install this and that. Okay, but I already had the ROM. I've been collecting ROM since I can say about 20 years. Since 20 plus years. I've been collecting ROMs 20 plus years. So I have a good collection of the ROM. So do I need to go download ROM? No, I just go look at my hard drive. 4 terabyte. I have all the ROM. Now I don't have the latest ROM like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1, and all that fancy one because those files too big, and at the time the hard drive was expensive, so I did not download those one. But like the old one, the old classic one, I do have those. Now, do I recommend get this? Why not? It's cool. You can walk around, play it. The only sad thing is I cannot play Nintendo DS. I love Nintendo DS, and I do have a Nintendo DS that's hacked, and so I got so much system, I don't know which one I want to play, but I love to have a new gadget, play with it, make it work. To me, it's a challenge. If it doesn't work, I want to make it work. That's my hobby. I don't really play it. I like to collect them, and I like to make things work. And once it works, I don't play with it. I don't know. That's my hobby. Like I buy those. Do I play with it? I still left it in the box. It's almost a year, and it's still in the box. The only one I did modify was that one, and it gave me a headache because my solder. Hey, if you're doing soldering, just FYI, make sure you use a metal thing and clean it, because the tip does get black, and once it get black, it does not have good contact and doesn't heat up the tip. So when you try to solder those little pin, it won't solder because the tip of the soldering stick is dirty. Let me get one out. So I went and bought another one, thinking it was my soldering skill wasn't good. So yeah, so you will have to use SOS or some kind of metal thing to clean this. Make sure it's clean. See, this one's clean. See, it's the same color. Make sure it's clean. Once if it's dirty, it doesn't have any heat. So when you try to solder something, man, take forever. Like, why is it not heating up? Why is it not heating up? And it's like, and I have to heat it up from here, and then I need the tip be hot, not here, because the stuff that I'm soldering is very tiny, and I cannot get it to melt to solder the wire and the contact connection together, because it won't melt the one I'm talking about melting. put everything away. I was doing a whole bunch of soldering. Anyway, that's how I damaged one of this stuff. I feel so bad. I damaged it because now I only have one that's working. This is the only one that's working now. The other one doesn't work. I wish I could find a monitor to buy. Right now it's so hard to buy a small one. Is $95 to buy a 70 inches, but you cannot find anything that is IPCS. This is the closest IPCS. One thing, the con about this is you have to plug it in directly like this. I wish they would just sell in a 3.5 screen, and that is it have a built-in speaker like this one, and I could just take that and then put it here and then plug it in to the Raspberry Pi. Boom, build my own arcade and then put my arcade stick here. Cool. I wish I could do that, but they don't sell a screen that small. They sell a screen, the smallest is 7 inches or the 10 inches screen by I think Sun Foundation company. Okay, that's enough talking. You probably guys bored about listening to me, but hopefully that helped, and I will do more deep video about this later on. Alright, check you guys later. Thank you.